Hi, in this tutorial you're going to learn how to find the intersection point between two linear lines. This is particularly useful when you're completing questions that involve break-even analysis. In a break-even analysis you will have a cost equation and a revenue equation, and to find the break-even point, or the point where your business is neither losing money nor making a profit, you need to find where the lines intersect. To do this on your graphical calculator, the first thing you need to do is you need to add a graph. Once we've added the graph, you'll see at the bottom here it says f1 or function 1 has a variable x. So we need to make sure that we're using x as our variable, even though we may have used a letter that represents things a little bit better if we were doing it on paper. So for our cost equation today, we're going to use 5x plus 45, where 5 is the variable component of the cost and 45 is the fixed cost. And then we hit enter. You can see that we've drawn in that red line. You'll also notice that the red line isn't appearing over here in the positive area, we only have it in the negative area, and so we're going to actually have to change our window settings. To find which area we're more interested in, we're only going to want to have positive x values, and we're going to have to find out what those y values should be. The easiest way to do this is to press Control T, and this opens up the table for the graph. It gives you the x value in the first column and the y value in the second column. So we're going to use a variable from 0 to 10, and we can see that we have to start at 45 and we need to go down to x being 10, and we need to go to at least 95, but we're going to go a little bit further than that so that we have room for our revenue equation as well. Okay, to close the table you need to reselect the graph area, and you'll see the black box is now centered in that, and again you go Control T to close that table. Okay, so let's change our window. We go Menu, we go Window, Window Settings. We want to change the X minimum. We're not going to sell negative number of things, so we'll put a 0 in there, and then we'll go Tab, and then we're going to put in here, and we'll leave 10, but let's go a little bit further out so we have room. We'll go to 12, and we're going to leave the scale on auto. So we'll tab past that. Now our X minimum, the y-intercept we found was at 45. We're going to go a little bit lower than that so that we can see it well. We're going to go to 40, and whilst it ended at 95, let's go a little bit further. Let's go all the way to 150, and let's have a y scale of say 5, and then OK. And now we can see that we have our x-axis and our y-axis, but we really are seeing the line in a much better way. Now that we have this done, let's put in our revenue equation. To put in the revenue equation, you need to hit Tab to bring up this function box. And the revenue that we're earning is going to be 12x. Remember, that means that we're getting $12 for each item that we sell. If we press enter, we now get our revenue equation. And so we can see that in this area we'll actually be running at a loss, in this area we'll have a profit, and at this point here where the lines intersect we're actually going to be breaking even, and this is the point we're interested in. And luckily the calculator can get the values for us. We can go Menu, and then using the graph here we can go to Analyze Graph, and you'll see that option 4 is intersection. If we click on intersection, the calculator is asking us down here lower bound. It essentially wants us to go below the intersection point. So we'll move it to just below the intersection point and click. And now it's asking for the upper bound. And you can see that it's actually already found it, but we're going to click again and it'll leave it there on the graph. So the break-even point for this graph, or the intersection point, is 6.4377.1.